Welcome to Josh's House of Nerd podcast.
Hello, Nerd Nation. I'm Josh, and I welcome you to the podcast. Grab a cold evergreen goblet of blue milk and make yourself comfortable here at my House of Nerd. Now for tonight's sponsor. Do you know your place in the world? Do you have a purpose? Do you know who you are? Do you know who I am? This message brought to you by, well, crap, they didn't tell me. Oh yeah, Amnesia. Get it now if you still remember what you were getting. Not a sponsor.
Nice.
Today on the podcast, we're on the topic for this month, which is what is the topic? Espionage movies. It just went out of my head and I forgot to write it down here. It's espionage movies. And we're talking about my pick, the 2002 movie, The Bourne Identity. Because I picked that other one two times. Inception.
Inception.
Starring Walton Goggins. Frank
Okay. At least you didn't bury the lead.
Matt Damon, Clive Owen, Adewale Akinoya, and Julia Stiles. This movie is about a man who's picked up by a fishing boat, bullet-riddled, and suffering from amnesia before racing to elude assassins and attempting to regain his memory. Let's talk about this movie, guys. What'd you think? First of all, how long had it been since you guys had seen this movie? Had it been a while?
Yeah, it'd been a while. Maybe
It's
like
been a little while for me.
10 years.
Yeah?
Yeah, it definitely been a while.
I didn't remember how long it was. It was longer than I expected it to be. But it's either that or I waited too long to start the movie. One of the two.
Right.
But I mean, one of the things I can pick out right here at the beginning that I really enjoyed with this movie is I really enjoyed I like the story a lot. But I enjoyed how the fight scenes and the car chases. I mean, you can't have a great espionage movie without it. Let's have a good spy movie. I beg to differ. No, I'm just kidding.
Can't have an action spy movie, I guess. Without
There
it.
you go. There's a better way to put it.
I'd forgotten that Clive Owen was in here, and then I'd forgotten like how little they actually used Clive Owen. Like it was he was criminally underused in this film, in my opinion.
And Walton Goggins. I mean, come on. They criminally underused him too.
Clive Owen had the best line.
Which one?
Look at what they made you give.
Oh,
yeah, it's true. But I don't know. Maybe it was because his character is so company driven, I guess, where he's
emotionally
like
stunted.
Yeah, and so it just reflected that into what he's written into. I don't know. I like Clive Owen. Like I know he's not the most fantastic actor, but I wish they would have used him more.
I mean,
was he as well known at that time?
Yeah, I don't think he was.
Yeah, I mean, I think
probably not.
The more known characters was Matt Damon. I mean, Julia Stiles was well known, even though they didn't use her that much. Yeah,
yeah,
everybody else was kind of newer people.
He wasn't super well known by the time that came out.
And
at least he wasn't
Treadstone,
popular.
Brian Cox, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's well known.
Yep, he's well known.
But there's only like 3 people that really were well known at that point. I mean, that's changed now, but yeah,
right. I don't know with Bourne Identity. I'm very meh on it. Like it's kind of neat and the story's kind of cool, but like nothing ever has really stood out to me other than maybe like that Clive Owen line. I now that I'm thinking about it, I really enjoyed that line because it did like reflect badly on the CIA and all that. But at the same time, I don't know. Like it didn't hit me as hard as I think it did the first time I watched it.
I was going to ask you that same thing. If
and maybe it's just because I've seen more, better films that do
like
something
the Jeremy
similar.
Renner version of the Bourne Identity.
Good gosh.
Well, let me. I wonder if you're suffering from the this originated a lot of stuff that happened in later movies, like techniques
Yeah.
that they used and stuff like that. This was the start of the quick cut. They kind
Oh
of,
yeah.
for me, it reminded me of so Mel Gibson in Braveheart, in his commentary for the film, which is entertaining in its own self, was talking about how they did the action scenes and stuff like that, and how they did to make the impacts look harder. They did a lot of like right before the thing impacts, you basically just cut and in the editing and never actually show the impact, just show the aftermath of it. And it seems like in this movie they took that to like even more. They went even further with it. They like cut whole
Right.
huge sections of stuff out of the fight scenes, out of the choreography, to make it feel that much more impactful, which I think, I mean, also kind of also kind of started the quick cut stuff that you see that we started, in the early 2000s into the 2010s, that then
I
became kind of out of fashion. But I think at the time it was pretty, especially the follow-up film, the second one after this one. The second one after this one has some amazing stunts in it and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Supremacy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
and I just
took it up one level, and it's great because it's like kind of the progenitor of those movies. So you see it done well, and then you see a bunch of imitation afterwards, and
Mhm.
some films that basically took the idea and did it better, and a lot of films that just copied it and tried to make it work even though they
Right.
couldn't. And so I think that's what the feeling I get with it. It's like, oh, I've seen this movie before. I mean, I've not only have I seen this movie before, we've gone to the point of like kind of exhaustion with this type of movie
Yes.
for a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think I'm coming out on the other end because like I watched this movie and I was entertained throughout. So
Yeah.
I
No,
also would
and I
agree.
think the quick cuts actually did some of it for me too, because I'm not a fan of quick cut action. I like the long choreography. I like the more martial arts style. I like those long cuts, and so the quick cuts. I think they didn't make me quite not like nauseous like some films can do, like the fireman's camera and then like the fireman's hose camera with the quick cuts. Those are the worst films. But no, I think you're right. I think maybe that's kind of did it. And then I think you're absolutely right with the nostalgia and the progenitor type deal. This kind of started a lot of different kinds of films, and you come back to it and you're like, I've seen this a dozen times.
yeah,
I've seen the same film done a dozen times, sometimes worse, sometimes better, sometimes just the same. So yeah, maybe that's what's coming into it. And then it doesn't hit as hard because I mean, I knew everything that was happening. I was like, oh, he lost his identity and he's actually a CIA agent and all of this stuff. Like I already knew it because I've already seen all the Bourne identity or all the Bourne films, even the
Mhm.
Jeremy Renner one. I've read the book. So it wasn't a big surprise to me. And maybe that was less impactful because the
I
first time I
remember it being
watched
a
it, I haven't
surprise the
heard of
first time. Like
yeah.
it definitely like this time it entertained me even though I knew it, but it definitely did impact me as the first time I saw it, wondering what the crap is going on. What's Treadstone, what's all this stuff. But I just remember being like, wow, very excited, very it drew me in, it sucked me in, and then the action scenes, the fighting, all of it kind of it was just kind of a great combination, all in all, of a good movie at that time,
Yeah,
and it still is. I think it still holds up. Yes, they're using a lot of techniques that are maybe not used as much these days, but um, that doesn't mean it's not really done well. The piecing up of this. I mean, I really like this director. His name or Doug Lyman. He's done another. I mean, he's done some good movies. Another one that I really liked that he did was um, Live Die Repeat, the Tom Cruise movie,
oh
the
yeah,
Day After Tomorrow.
day after tomorrow. Yeah,
yep,
he did that one too, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I really like. I think he's a good. I think he's a very good action director.
and I can't pick out anything in the film. I mean, if I got super nitpicky, I probably could, but I can't pick out anything that was an instant. Oh wow, this is so badly done, or no, that this is horrible. Why would a director do this? So
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him credit there. And then I did actually really enjoy The Day After Tomorrow. I
You did or
liked
you
the
didn't? I
concept.
can't.
I did.
Okay.
I did. Not and it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a guilty pleasure because I understand like the film and I understand where it falls flat and has issues, but I really I think it was directed well for what it was, and so I can see Lyman doing more. What else has he done? You said.
Uh, Lyman. Let me look. I can't remember. I think he did another
Well,
Bourne movie.
yeah. While you're looking, I got the other thing that I got was the look, the soundtrack, and a little kind of like it felt like this film wanted to be Ronin
Oh man.
because
It did.
the look of it, the soundtrack, the drum usage, and kind of how they did the intense scenes and stuff like that, and everything. It felt like it wanted to be like it's a little lesser than Ronin in my eyes as far as like execution, but
Yeah, for sure.
it's like heavier on the action and kind of not as much on the espionage.
Some of the
Yeah,
other
where
movies
Ronan
he's
was a
done,
lot
by the
more
way,
heavy.
is Swingers and Fair Game. Um,
I haven't seen either of those.
I know some people who really like Swingers.
It was big at the time it came out.
Yeah, he's done a lot of other ones that are kind of. He did The Phantom, which is not a great movie.
Phantom.
He's done a lot of TV, like Suits. He did. He was an executive producer on Jason Bourne, Edge of Tomorrow. I thought there was another.
Jason Bourne was the newest Bourne film with Matt Damon again. It was kind of like a reboot, right?
Yes,
Or not a reboot, but it wasn't. It was.
He was executive producer of almost all the other Bourne movies.
Okay. Even the one with Jeremy Renner.
Oh no, the Matt Damon ones.
Oh, the Matt Damon ones.
Not that one.
Like we're just skirting around. It's like, not that one. Nope.
He's done a ton.
Not gonna
of
touch
TV.
that one. I feel so bad because I love Jeremy Renner as an actor. Like I love Renner. Man, he's done some fantastic stuff from like Wind River, but they did him so bad in that movie.
Yeah. Here's a couple other one. I don't know if you guys like these ones too. He did Chaos Walking, which I thought was okay. He did Jumper.
Okay, with
I like Jumper. I actually own it. It's actually sitting right in front of me right now.
with Anakin. What's his face?
Yeah. Exactly.
I can't
And
remember
he
his name.
did one of your like least favorite movies. He did Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh yeah,
I liked that movie, but I know you don't.
Yeah, I thought it was an entertaining movie too. So
I did too.
yeah.
Anyway, those are the other movies he did too. I think
Maybe we
he's a
should have
good
done
director. He's
Mr.
just
and
very
Mrs.
hit and
Smith
miss.
so I could, so we could discuss how it disgusts me.
Yeah, I'd really like to have that discussion one of these days. I'm really interested, like why you don't like that, because I find it very entertaining and quite comical, in different parts and scenes. If I catch it on TV, I find myself watching it.
Well, let's make this a dual feature podcast then. No, I'm
That's
just
cool.
kidding.
I haven't watched that movie in so long.
I haven't seen it for a while myself.
That's what's going to make it spicy. We just start quoting like the incorrect movie plots and
Right.
what have you watched?
It was Hamlet,
exactly.
of course.
Yeah, it was Hamlet. So that's interesting that he directed that film. We'll save that
He's a very
discussion.
hit and miss director, as we can all see. I mean, there's a couple there that
Well,
there's
is
two or
he
three
hit
that I
and
really
miss?
like out of his, filmography.
Is he hit and miss as a director, or is it just the scripts he's picking? Because
That's a good point.
because I think you can argue like his skills not bad. It's just he's not had great selection in movies, I guess.
There's that potential.
Except for he's had some great ones, yeah.
I was going to say there's worse directors out there, so I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like-
I'm not bagging on him. I like I said, I enjoy some of his films. So
Well, okay, so is there? Trying to think if there's anything about this film that like, I don't know. I like watching competent characters be competent, so there's that. I mean,
Do you think he's overconfident though? Because that hits me
It
every
kinda
once in
has
a
to
while.
be.
Like he just knows. I know he's got amnesia and all that stuff, and he's got the skills, and he remembers his skills. but it seems like that's one thing that's always kind of bugged me about the Bourne movies is no matter what, he always is one step ahead of them. And I know that's his MO. I
Yeah,
get
I was
it,
going to say, that's what you come to a Bourne movie for, though.
you know, but I mean, it just seems like he's a little bit too far ahead sometimes.
I mean, it's basically the American James Bond at that point. I mean,
exactly.
outside of, yeah, exactly. So it's like,
Which is
or
what I think they were hoping
another attempt at American James Bond, essentially.
Right.
Are you thinking Pierce? Oh man, I lost it. Never mind.
I'm as much as Mission Impossible is a British thing anyway. It's like it's kind of been Americanized. It feels like so. It's kind of weird.
I for sure. I
Yeah.
think it's absolutely been Americanized since the very first film. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so like it's weird because it's like James Bond is, very much a British, film, whereas in Mission Impossible is not. It's kind of skirting the line because it's origins and everything else like that, and then the Bourne is like another attempt to create a American James Bond. And it's like, okay, when you watch a James Bond film, he also has all the tools to solve all the problems that comes at him. So I don't know, is there a thing they didn't do that you like? Well, I guess the first question is, do you like James Bond films more than Bourne films?
That's a hard question because then you have all the eras of James Bond to choose from. Like which era of James Bond? I would if faced with any Bourne film versus any James Bond film, I would probably choose the Bond film. Yeah.
Depends
Which
on the
Bond
Bond
film?
film, though. That's the
No,
problem.
that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter. Like it could be any Bond film, and I'd probably still choose it over Bourne.
Okay, so
I
the
would
least
disagree
James
with that.
Bond film, the least Bond film would beat out the best Bourne film.
For what I would want to watch in the moment, yeah. Because I'm just because I think you're absolutely right. I'm much more of a James Bond, and partially I think I grew up with James Bond too. Like super
Sure.
nostalgia. We had him. We had like all of it on VHS. I watched him every Thanksgiving when they had the James Bond marathons going on some channels. I think it was Thanksgiving. So I grew up with Bond, so maybe it's more nostalgia than anything. But
I was gonna say there's some pretty bad James Bond movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would rather. There are some pretty big stinkers in that series, and a lot of them are. I mean, heck, I hate. Let's see, what is it? There was Casino Royale of the Daniel Craig one, right? And then the one that came after that was that Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace, yeah, that one wasn't
The
great.
follow up to the one after Quantum of Solace,
Spectre?
or maybe it was. Maybe
Yeah, I think
it's one of
no, I
those
think
two movies.
I think Spectre's second and Quantum of Solace is third.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's Quantum of Solace.
No, Quantum of Solace is second.
Is
Oh,
that
okay.
okay?
Yeah,
And it's Spectre.
Quantum
It's
of
the one
Solace
that's
is-
kind of like a continuation of the other, in a
Right.
way.
they're all kind of they're all
Yeah,
kind
but
of
those
like-
two are like literal.
Quantum of Solace, yeah, it happens
Continuation.
right after Casino Royale.
Right. So
Yeah.
I hate that. I think that is a boring movie. That's one of the only Daniel Craig movies that I just didn't like at all. I love Casino Royale, man. That
yeah.
is such a good movie. And then that last one he did, not the one that just came out, but I haven't seen that one yet, but the one before this.
Skyfall.
Skyfall. It was good
Skyfall
too.
was great.
Skyfall was great. I love the end.
Yeah.
And you like it because the movie doesn't go where you think it's going to go.
No.
Like that's like the best part of that film. It's like you think it's going to go in one direction, it goes the entirely opposite, and you're just surprised. Like it was good. I really enjoyed
Well,
it.
I would like to
and
watch
it's a
those
gorgeous
movies
film.
over
Yeah, beautiful.
over a Bourne movie. But if I had to watch Quantum or the other one, not Quantum of Solace, the other one,
Spectre.
Spectre, I would absolutely watch any Bourne movie. Heck, I'd watch the Jeremy Renner one. I think that it just bored me to death. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of like, even from Sean Connery and Timothy Dalton, and heck, that third Pierce Brosnan one was not good.
That was
Yeah.
rough. But
Not
again,
really.
like I just enjoy the James Bond films, and I think
But
that's
the
where it
first
comes down to.
two Pierce Brosnan ones, those were.
I'm
I
not
loved
saying
them.
they're good films. I'm not saying I'm choosing them because they are better films. I'm choosing them because I would enjoy them more.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fair.
So,
because there's a lot of people that don't like Thunderball, but
what about Moonraker?
See,
Oh
there's
my
things
gosh,
even about
Moonraker with
Moonraker.
Jaws. and then what is it?
Anyway.
What's the Japanese one where they're going out and fetching they have this rocket that eats the other satellites. No, everyone dies. No one dies twice. Maybe something I can't remember.
I don't know.
No, you only live once.
You only live once.
Yeah, that one was probably one of my favorites, and it is the dumbest one because he gets like a little toy helicopter he gets to build and fly around, and like it was one of the dumbest James Bond films, but I absolutely loved it, and it was great.
I mean, I have that nostalgia too. I have a lot of good memories of watching James Bond movies with my dad. My dad loves them. Growing up, if it was ever on TV, my dad was watching a James Bond movie. And yet I've caught my dad also, watching the Bourne movies. I mean, he loves them. I don't know to what level, but there's a lot of good things in these. I got a funny story to tell you about the Bourne movies. I keep thinking about this and then I keep forgetting about it. So we used to joke with my father-in-law, Steve. Shout out Steve out there. He whenever we'd go over to his house, he would almost always on TBS have one of the Bourne movies on because they used to play him all the time. He admitted one time that he had never seen, and he'd watched like every Bourne Identity movie at least 2 or 3 times. He had never seen one all the way to completion. He used to sit there, he'd fall asleep like halfway through. He's like, these are great movies. They're amazing. And you're like, so what happens middle? I have no idea. They're great movies. And stuff. He loved these movies. And then we found they'd bought all the movies, and yet he hadn't even taken them out of the package or the wrapper yet, just because they had him on TV so much. And he was like, I'm content with falling asleep in front of the TV watching it on TBS. Anyway, I keep forgetting to tell that story. I just thought that was a funny story about these movies because it was almost always the Bourne movies. He's like, we'd always ask him, do you like them? Oh yeah, they're great. Anyway. But they are great and stuff. And yeah, they might be trying to be a James Bond, but they're a good movie and stuff. I think each one builds great on each other, which is also great about this series as well, except for the Jeremy Renner one, which, by the way, I've never seen. I keep bagging on it, but I know what it's about and stuff. But so many people have said like, don't waste your time, that I haven't.
On which one?
The Bourne, the one with Jeremy Renner.
Oh,
yeah, I haven't even seen that one.
Yeah,
even though I keep bagging on it.
it just it wasn't done well. Like, it had an interesting concept and story, like an interesting idea with with pills and like manufacturing a good agent and over that. But other than that, it wasn't executed well, I think. So I'll probably never watch that one again. We all have a limited amount of time on this earth to use.
Unless you guys pick it from my picks next week for Espionage.
I will go from memory.
Oh my goodness. Please. No. Anything else you guys want to mention about this movie? I feel like we're winding down a little bit on what we wanted to talk about. Anything else that kind of stood out that we want to talk about, or we want to go to ratings?
I'm golden.
Okay. I'm good.
You're good? Okay. I'll go first, I guess. I'm going to give this 9 out of 10 shotguns to the arm.
You really liked it. All right.
I really like it. I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy this movie a lot.
I would watch this film with my mother, because I don't like watching Bond films with my mother, because Bond is such a player that there's always some weird sex scene in the Bond films, and Jason Bourne didn't really have that.
Yeah, Jason Bourne is like a really nice guy. He doesn't really go in for the seduction thing very much.
Right. And it might be that he's just so out of his head and like trying to figure out what the crap's going on that he doesn't even know how to pick up women anymore. But maybe that's just so ingrained. I don't know. He like just starts randomly picking up women. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's just working. So
Oh, that's funny. Crit, what's your rating?
I will do a 6 out of 10. It was definitely enjoyable. I think I like it better than some of the other Bourne movies in the same franchise. I think it did its story pretty well. I mean, you could follow along. It wasn't. It looked like it was pretty tight and pretty well put together, from the script to the acting to the choreography and everything else like that. I think Ronan is better version of this movie. But I appreciate it for what it is.
I can
Ronan's a
agree
good
with that.
movie.
I love
That's a good
Ronan.
movie. It is.
I want to go watch Ronan now.
They're
Okay, are we
very
ready?
different- They're very different structured, though. That's the thing that's
They
really
are,
interesting
yeah.
between
For
how
sure.
this one is so much more high energy than, say, Ronan. But
Ronan has more actual espionage in it.
Yeah, it does.
So, all right, we ready
All
for
right.
my picks here?
Yeah, bring
Yeah.
it on, John.
Okay, first one is Done Dirty.
Hmm.
The second one is
Like
The
your mom.
Root is All Evil. And the third one is How Many Lies Can You Tell? So, Done Dirty, The Root is All Evil, and How Many Lies Can You Tell?
Kind of like the third one.
Yeah, I was leaning toward Lies also.
Okay.
Let's do that one, John.
So, Done Dirty is Imitation Game
Ah,
with
I
Benedict
almost picked that one
Cumberbatch.
myself. I love that. Yeah.
That's a good one. The Root is All Evil is Bad Company with Lawrence Fishburne and a bunch of other
I've never seen that one.
and then How Many Lies Can You Tell is Inception.
We've already
Stop.
talked.
Okay, don't do that.
No, it's not. I couldn't resist it. No, it's Red Joan with Dame Judi Dench.
Red Joan. What years went from?
It's fairly recent, actually.
Really?
Yeah, 2018.
I have never heard of this movie. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm really excited to get your thoughts on it. And then your thoughts on the time
On
period
Netflix,
and
too.
all that stuff too. So, because it's not just about the espionage with this one. I think there's a lot to talk about with that time period.
Wonderful. And stuff. Okay. I look forward to it. I didn't even know it existed. So, and hopefully one of these days I'll watch Bad Company. I've always wanted to, but I never think about it. Anyways, well, great, guys. I think this was a good discussion, a good movie, even though it wasn't the first pick. And but
I'm just glad it wasn't Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Let's be honest.
Oh, it almost was. It almost was.
I know we were too
Oh.
close.
I'll get you next week, John.
And to everybody out there listening, thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you for listening to us. And if you liked what you heard here, click the like button and stuff. It really helps us out. And as always, may you have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. For more nerdy awesomeness, please like and subscribe and check out our other nerdy videos.